Ohayo Minasan, welcome back to our playthrough of the Great Ace Attorney Adventures, the adventure of the Runaway Room. We're continuing where we left off last time. I was a bit too quick in thinking that it wasn't actually going to end at the right place. That's my bad, so we will be doing the last part of part 2 and going into part 3 and the end of this case. That is my bad. The fact that it hadn't done it the previous 2 times had made me quick to judge, but I shouldn't have. I should have just let it go, but, well, here we go. Let's get into this. Have you been listening to the discourse of the day? To be sure I have, my lord. There are now 2 matters on which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the Omnibus cabin as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal that fact from police? I would like to know that too, pretty please. Like that sounds like, I don't want to know why you would have concealed this fact from us. I really don't. At the same time, I have to know because god damn it. Dance. But gad, no. 'Tis not my nature to hide anything at all. Just answer the questions, please. The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I tell yous all or keep my mouth shut? Tell us what, Mr. McGill did. The fine fella representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the night with myself and the other man, there was another passenger. It's true. Aye, and it was me who helped the little urchin get away after it happened. You. What? Dance. No, Magnus McGilden. That convenient excuse can't save you now. I'm truly sorry I am, Lord Von Zeeks. I'm sure you'd be wanting to know why I said nothing when I was taken in by police. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you. Which was? Well, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Not in any way involved, you see. What? If the police had known that the wee one was there, they'd have assumed she'd done it. They'd have hauled her into this here courtroom just like myself. I was only trying to spare her that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord. And who was this young child of whom you speak? That I don't know. You don't know? Aye, well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never saw her before or since.
Objection!
We have absolutely no reason to believe this man. The prosecution calls for the witnesses' statements to be disregarded by the court. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. Yet the urchin isn't here in this courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings. What? Oh, god darn you. Fire! There's fire! Look, somebody's trying to get away! After them! It's no use. I can't see through all this smoke. What's going on? Be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Cover your face. Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, Ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. This is exactly what I was supposed to do at the end of the last episode. We were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff. Amid scenes of chaos as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber. We had no idea what was happening. All we knew is that, for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. Yeah, see? 5 minutes and 30 seconds should have been at the end of the last episode. And I'm sorry, that's my own fault. Yes, I will save my current progress. 18 February, 12:52 p.m., the Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. What on earth just happened in there? Mr. Naruhodo, I've managed to find out what happened. Miss Susato, I was told it was an advanced form of a smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke. A smoke grenade? Sounds like the sort of thing ninjas use. They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long. But who would have done something like that? The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently. Flee the courtroom? Why? Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear. "15-year-old girl. Well, this doesn't sound good. Doesn't sound good at all. A young girl, then could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGilded was talking about? My thoughts exactly. So, he wasn't lying. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilded, actually? There's so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here. I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions, along with the young girl. Who is she, I wonder? And what was she even doing here at the trial? She was taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself? There's another matter that's troubling me. What's that? The 20 pence. According to the coachman, Mr. Beepo, he took 4 passengers that night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly. And now it seems there was in fact 5 passengers, meaning she's a stowaway. It's not that hard, Susato, to figure out that this girl was not actually supposed to be there. Which means the figures don't seem to add up again. She's right. That is strange. Again, she's just a stowaway. Holds up for the defense. Kindly proceed into the courtroom. The trial will recommence in 5 minutes. Oh, thank you, officer. We'll go straight away. Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but I could alter the whole direction of the trial. We'll know soon enough, Miss Susato. Yes. February 1 p.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. There's the young girl next to Mr. McGilded. Look, she must have been the one who caused the disturbance before. Well, after that rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Von Zeeks. My lord. I believe you have established the cause of the smoke which veiled proceedings earlier. It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, a sort of typically employed by the army. Good gracious, the army! What in devil's name? It was an elaborate attempt by the young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught. And now accompanies the stand. Your name, girl? Dance. Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of the deplorable behavior? You've only made me look, my lord. Yes, Mr. McGilded. I think perhaps I ought to explain here. Wait, is it that this wee lassie was here in the first place and why she tried the boat like that? It is all tied up with the events of that night, so it is. Very well, Mr. McGilded. Give your testimony. You will explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case. Dance. Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. Oh, I would love that information. God darn it, Ryunosuke. I would love to be informed of these things. Witness testimony. The young girl. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then, buggereth, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. I then turned to find where that scream had come from, and bless me soul, what did I find? There was a child in there all curled up in a ball hiding her wee self away. I remain somewhat baffled, I confess, but from what I gather on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus, is that correct? It is exactly as the defense counsel said. This lass was the 5th passenger, my lord. Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witnesses. Are you ready, counsel? Yes, my lord. Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start. Dance. Cross-examination, we're just gonna press everything. And when you first got into the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? There were not. The cabin was empty and there was no one on the roof deck either. You were the first passenger, as it were, I see. Aye, and that's why I took the back seat as I did. Just the most comfortable, so it is. Could you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat? By all means, 'tis how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite the one in which the poor gentleman was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, 'tis the most comfortable and where I feel most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well. Dance.
Hold it!
A loud thud, you say? And a scream? Aye, that's right. How can I explain it? I don't know, just explain it, my dear man. It was like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise. So, You think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor, having been stabbed. Well, no, you'll remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say that. And when the sound woke me, I opened my eyes. There wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fellow on the floor. You didn't see anyone? But at the same moment, you did hear a scream. Ah, from the seats above you on the roof deck, I presume. Not above me, no, my lord. 'Twas from inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before me eyes.
Hold it!
You sat him up, the victim, you mean? That I did. On the seat across from me, as I said, I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. And you wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you? 'Tis common courtesy, so it is. I find that a little hard to believe. Our Lord Von Zeeks, now why would that be? You wait to find a man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is. Well now, as you know, I'm something of a special line of business. The business of lending money to exorbitant rates of interest. Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and some would even see me dead. So I do try where all possible to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble. Are you suggesting you were just going to leave the man there? Heavens alive, no. I was always intending to report it, so I was. Only, I had a mind to find out the whys and wherefores first. The whys and wherefores. Right you are. There were some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same? Ah, yes. The scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing. Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from. And bless me soul, what did I find? There was a child there! Oh, hold on. I'm supposed to go back. Because I'm pressing every statement. We need all the information. I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim. So I did, sir, so I did. As far as I could see, that is. What do you mean by that? Well, now, 'tis a queer thing. The wee scream I heard that woke me up. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside. Good gracious! Under your backside? And when I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, I found there was a wee cubby hole there for storage. Mr. Naruhodo, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember? Yes, of course. The whole bus was submitted as evidence. This would be a very good time to have a thorough look around inside. And that's when I found her. Well, let's examine the omnibus first. Well, let's open the door. I didn't realize how much blood was on the floor, too. That's blood, isn't it? Is something wrong? Oh, it's just, well, this blood stain is so obvious, that's all. And yet Von Zeeks has made no mention of it. Yeah, I don't remember seeing this. Who touched my crime scene? I suppose that does seem a little strange. Why do I have such a bad feeling about this? This seat has a handle, it seems. this is a storage compartment, but there's nothing in here. It's totally empty. Something doesn't seem right here, but I can't put my finger on what it is. But there is indeed a storage compartment. And there's not a storage compartment on the other side. That's the poster for the Great Exhibition. Don't really know why. I looked at it weirdly. Except for that weird, new blood stain on the floor, I definitely found what he was talking about with the storage. Do I have to look into it again? Open it again. See anything, so we do know that there's a storage compartment, and there's a weird blood stain on the floor that I didn't remember being there the first time I looked. I thought the only blood stain was on the seat.
Hold it!
You say she was hiding herself? Oi, that's right. It was hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, my heart nearly stopped beating in my chest. You're really overreacting this. Still in all, I pulled her out from under there and sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chingwag with her. The seat opposite? That's right. Just next to the dead gentleman there. Why would you put her next to the dead man? What the hell is wrong with you? You sat this young girl next to the corpse, sir? Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in mortal danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. While I was in the middle of talking to her, I heard another scream. A fella's voice this time. Presumably, that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats. Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, he must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with the knife in his belly. In other words, the previous witnesses did not, in fact, see you at all, Mr. McGilden. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was, in fact, this young girl and the late Mr. Mason. Why, my lord? I was, yes, I think everyone understands now. I sat at the back of the carriage out of sight. It is certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and readily confused perhaps with this young girl. After that, of course, with the scream from a gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses. Thank you, I've heard enough. The events as explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is this girl? Who is the girl? I think this would have been a better word. Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. Lestrade! Oh, you mean Detective Lestrade? She's a chancer. Earns her crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket. What? This girl here, a petty thief. Order! Order! Is this true, Miss? Yeah, that's how it's said. Lestrade. So why is her name not changed, but every other Sherlock Holmes character has to be changed? What the hell? That doesn't sound right. It could be that she's so different from her from the actual incarnation in Sherlock Holmes that she gets away with being able to keep her name. But at the same time, it's just like, God, I was looking forward to whatever name you put here. But no, we only get Herlock and Wilson. Wilson. Yeah, I think it's Wilson. I can't remember the first case names at the moment. We'll remember later on, though. Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question. Ah! How dare you! What is the meaning of this? Ah! The girl, she's gone! Open your eyes. I'm over here. Oh, what was the point in that little sidestep? I know what you lot are thinking. Grubs are all the same. 'Tis dirty little diaper, you'll say. Slipped up and got caught on the job. She got herself backed into a corner, so she knifed the gent. Go on, that's what's in your heads, ain't it? No, not at all. This is a court of law. We're here to determine the truth, not cast... Ah, god damn it. Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do is these fingers. I'm a professional, alright. Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride what I do. Let me guess, you don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs. All this? You got that from the same person that Holmes gets stuff from. It's got the same insignia. Oh, this? Yeah, this was in a bag. I left it the other day down where they keep the four-wheel drags. So you stole Sherlock's bag? It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink best. Ah, do not wave that thing in my direction again! So, you admit that you were riding in the omnibus on the night in question. It's alright, lass. You can tell them the truth now. Alright, yeah. It's just like the Irishman said. The court accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony if you please. You will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question. Alright, if I have to. What the girl saw. So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, and like always. But I was right, old waste of time. I got nothing to show for my troubles that night. I tell you, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Then, after a while, I hear this loud bang. It nearly jumped me out of my skin, I did. And the scream just came out. Because of that, this swill found me. It had helped me get away, mind. yes, he let you go. I fail to understand why you would let this street urchin go, Mr. McGilded. Oh, 'tis simplicity in itself, my lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact. How? As I'm sure I said before, sir. I was sitting right on top of the place where she was hiding herself. I think a demonstration is called for. This is where I sat that night. And the cubbyhole of which you have spoken of is underneath the seat, I presume? Yes. It does appear just large enough to accommodate someone of the girl's stature. But of course, the wee lass was stuck in there. Because I'd parked myself on the seat for the duration. Ah! So you see, that's why I let the lass bolt. I knew that if the police found her there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself if the young life was ruined when all the time I knew she was innocent. Even though you must have realized your action would result in your own innocence being called into question. Not at all, my lord, not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. So I thought it was worth taking a punt on my own good name for the sake of this less fortunate lass. My goodness. What a perfect gentleman. My lord! This is a fine example of a man cannot possibly be guilty of the heinous crime like this. I'm ashamed of myself for ever doubting you, sir. With calm and calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Holy crap-a-moly! Saints alive! All 6 members of the jury consensual in their leaning of a verdict of not guilty. Mr. Naruhodo, this must mean... It must mean what? That we're not gonna actually find the guilty party in this case? The only time in Ace Attorney that this kind of thing happens? Well, thank you, jury, for making my job easier. But we're victorious. We've won? Are you sure?
Objection!
No. Oh my God! Why is your foot up there? If the sight of my iron to your Wellington offers prey, do forgive the discourtesy. This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in the British judicial practices, where evidence and reasoning should be paramount. Emotion rules the day. Emotion? The witness's last statement gives us a clear insight to his true nature. What do you mean his true nature? Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the Omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in their investigation. The compartment and the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It's noted in black and white here in the police report. Good Lord! The evidence has been tampered with in order to corroborate Mr. McGilded's story. Someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat. What? Order! Order! How could such a devious contrivance possibly been effective, Council? Naturally, we must acknowledge the defectivities of the constabulary in allowing this to have happened. I said that wrong. I will admit I said that probably really wrong. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty. Well, my Nepalese friend? Me? I didn't look under the seat this morning, I'm sorry. When the carriage was submitted as evidence, doubtless you examined it in fine detail, as would any self-respecting practitioner of the law. I didn't look under the seat. Pray, what did you find the condition of the underseat compartment to be? Well, to be sure, the young gentleman will be able to clear this up in a jiffy. Sorry? Go ahead, tell the court now, fella. Well, this is all an elaborate excuse by the desperate Lord Von Zeeks. Well, Counsel, do you have something to say on this matter? How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of that little compartment under the seat in the omnibus? I didn't look. I'm going with the truth. I didn't look. I can tell you about that blood stain that I'm positive I didn't see this morning, so I can definitely say it was probably tampered with. But I didn't look at that compartment. Sorry, Von Zeeks. I didn't look at the compartment. Sorry, I'm a failure. I didn't look. Why didn't I? More thoroughly? I did examine it more thoroughly. It didn't make me think that there was something under the seat. Perhaps I credited you with too much intelligence. It seems, my lord, that this Eastern initiate is as unreliable as wine from the barrel. What the effing hell, you douche! Mr. Naruhodo. Hell no. It seems the argument is moot. And the truth of the matter is there for all use to all see after all. That there cubbyhole under the seat is as empty as the devil's heart, so it is. Why do I feel like something's not right here? I do feel like something's not right. I should like the jury to weigh in on the matter, I think. The compartment is designed for house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. The Guild's rules state the omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times. So it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. Beepo isn't that irresponsible. That money-lending fencer and pickpurse are lying. Can't believe I was nearly taken in. The sinking rich are always stinkers. We're nothing but cowards, the lot of them. What? Oh no. It's a trick, of course it's a trick. God darn it. Quite so, I must concur here. They're not all going to do this, are they? With calm and calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Yes, but every time a different truth, it seems. My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly, a verdict of not guilty at this time would be wholly inappropriate. Thank you, counsel. But before we proceed any further, there's the matter of the outstanding cross-examination. Counsel for the defense, begin your questioning of the witness, please. Yes, my lord. What just happened? What the hell just happened? The whole balance of the trial just shifted, almost beyond recognition. The Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem. God. We in trouble. What the girl saw. We're pressing everything. And then we'll repress something, bro. So you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on its run? Hell yeah. I mean, what's the point of spending a joy to make a few bobs, eh? That's a room idea, ain't it? I suppose she means there's no point in spending money to make money. It actually makes sense. Counsel, may I remind you that this girl is a petty thief? Kindly refrain from entertaining her tenants. Well, let those clear up a little mystery of the fares and all. We're paying passengers at 5 pence apiece makes 20, which the cabman testified. And one little scapegrace riding for free. Right conk of a driver always goes for golden robot before his last run, see? So that's when I slip into the carriage and get myself in onto the seats. Nice and easy, right? But your hiding place is a storage compartment. Full of equipment for the coach, no? Dots. Yeah, there's bushes and buckets and whatnot there, sure. I always chuck all that out and cram it in a corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much. And yet, according to the report filed by the police officer who first arrived at the scene, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia. Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all that stuff out so I could hide under the seat. That's all I can tell you. It seems we've reached the end of that line of inquiry. Continue.
Hold it!
A waste of time. Why is that? Well, most nights I'm on my own in the gold permit at least some of the time. I beg your pardon? Did you say God permit? Oh yeah, well, that's what my kind call it. You'd say an omnibus, I suppose. The point is, any normal run, the carriage ain't got no one for a little while. And that's when you come out of your hiding place and get away. That's it. Only that night, this cove was sat on me. See it from the start. And he didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch. I was totally stuck.
Do you mean to tell us that you were present in the carriage for the duration? You were under the seat the entire time while the events unfolded in the enclosed cabin?
Yeah. Right, mister? To be sure. I was as shocked as anyone. You don't expect to lift the cushion and be sat on by a fine child now, do you? So this Miss Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit then.
Hold it!
So you couldn't see out into the cabin at all? Not a jot. Most days I push the cushion up with me head and look out a crack. And then I can have a butcher at what I'm gonna fiddle. I thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher. I mean, I can have a look. The seat I get under ain't as plush as the other one, see? So most of the time the passengers plant themselves opposite. But for some reason that night, this here Irishman spent the whole journey right over me head. And for that reason, you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out, I see. Truth is, I ain't too happy in the small dark spaces. Feels too much like being thrown in the clink. the only place to hide in these carriages, so it's Obson's choice. Why doesn't she stick to picking people's pockets in the open then? I'd say there's some reason she's not laying on, judging from her demeanor. So anyways, I was a bit scared, but I had to stick it out onto there. Nothing else for it.
Hold it!
When you say a loud bang, do you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor? Could have been, I suppose. I don't remember it so well. Point is, it made me jump. And you let out a scream involuntarily? That's right. And then I felt the cushion over my head get lighter all of a sudden. Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yes? Or not? It could equivocally been the moment the accused stood in order to stab his victim, could it not?
Well, girl, did you see what happened at that critical moment?
Yeah, I saw it. I pushed up on the cushion and had a quick butchers while I had a chance, didn't I? The Irishman was sitting up on that bloke wall. The bloke that fallen on the floor and on the seat opposite. That matches Mr. McGilden's account, of course. But then the fella suddenly turns around and looks right at me. I sank back down again, but it was too late by then. I should have never risked looking.
Hold it!
And when Mr. McGilden discovered you, he pulled you out from your hiding place? How scared stiff I was. He dragged me out and sat me down on the seat and all. Next to the victim, Mr. Mason. Yeah, the bloke had a knife in his guts. He was still bleeding. Then the carriage lurched a bit and he ended up falling onto me. Ugh, how awful. Both me hands got covered in blood. Made me feel sick as a dog. Both her hands covered in blood? That must be what the rooftop passenger saw. After that, I believe you talked with Mr. McGilden for a while, is that correct? He asked me some stuff. Wanted to know my name and what I was up to and that. Then I heard something from above. Someone screamed.
Yes, Mr. Faust on the roof deck would be one would presume.
Well, I didn't want no one seeing me face, so I didn't look up. Then the horses were drawn up smartish, and this here Irishman says to me, "Get back under the seat, I'll see that you can get away later." All 6 members of the jury had decided the defendant was innocent. For one brief shining moment, yes. It's clear that they are still very unsure. If we could just find some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony, I'm sure we would clinch the verdict we want. Yes, I think you're right. And I have this niggling feeling that something's bothering me, but I just can't quite put my finger on it. That there's a giant blood stain on the floor that I don't remember being there earlier.
Hold it!
So you couldn't see out into the cabin at all?
Excuse me!
No, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to press that button. Thank you so much. Ah! Does he think I was asking after his general well-being? I didn't mean to do that. I pressed the wrong button on the remote.
Hold it!
On the controller. That's my bad. So you couldn't see out into the cabin at all. How to jump. Most days I pushed the cushion up. Which lands. I thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher.
Well, no. Excuse me.
Is something wrong, Mr. McGilded?
Oh, I do apologize. Was there something the matter, Counsel?
I'm just wondering if Miss Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps. You seem to be thinking something to yourself.
Oh, no. It was nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass, is all. I remember feeling desperate myself as a young lad shut up in the dark. It was terrifying, so it was.
I see, yes, I'm sure we can all sympathize. I'm still scared of the dark now.
Oi, I don't know about yourself, but I find that darkness seems to make everything you hear seems that much louder as well. Yeah. Well, I suppose it does, maybe.
Miss Lestrade, did you hear something that night? Anything? An unusual noise, perhaps?
Nah, not really. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. But jibbers! There's no need to tell the whole world of me fibbles, you little scamp. You little scamp.
What a pity. If only Miss Lestrade had heard something, it might have given us a vital new clue.
Yes?
What should we make of that last statement of hers?
Well, I mean, I would say it's important, because God...
If she only heard the snorings of one person. My lord! Put that into your statement, please. I believe the statement just made by the witness is profoundly important.
Profoundly important, but all she said was that she heard nothing.
Yes, which is the profoundly important point. I'm almost sure of it.
I'm almost sure I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern Mind, Counsel. Nonetheless, Miss Gina Lestrade, you will supplement your formal testimony by repeating that last statement, please.
What? Supplement? What do you want about? Don't give me a fancy talk. I know what you're trying to do. Well, it won't work on me. That's right. Insult the judge. Always a good move.
I was straining my ears to work out what was going on, but all I could hear was snoring.
Hold it!
So you were straining to hear what was happening the entire time, since the moment you hid yourself?
Not exactly, no.
Sorry?
There's no one in the cabin to start with. I could just push the cushion up and have a look just to see what was what. But then, when I saw this swell gentleman getting warm, I put my head down so he didn't notice me.
And Mr. McGill had sat on the seat in which you were hiding, correct?
Yeah, would you let him in anything, huh? What a mug! Is that all I could do is listen? I was waiting to jump out of there as soon as I heard him leave, yeah, see? But would he? Not likely. Even though we stopped here and there, I never heard the door open.
You've never heard the second passenger get on?
So I just had to stay put and listen to him driving his pigs to the market, snoring like an old dog he was.
many conclusions we can draw from that, I wonder. It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. Miss Lestrade, what you've just told the court is clearly at odds with the facts. Huh?
At odds? Are you sure, man?
Absolutely.
It seems my learned Nepalese friend is not as dull-witted as I feared.
Oh, you shut the hell up, you dickwad.
So Von Zeeks realized it too. Counsel! I must insist that you bolster your claim with evidence! Or some compliment party's name at the very least!
Yes, my lord.
I expect you to demonstrate that this alleged contradiction to the court.
According to Miss Lestrade, while she was hiding in the omnibus that night, she heard nothing but the sound of Mr. McGill snoring. But think, Ryunosuke, think! There's something else she should have heard. Show a person. Very well, my lord. Allow me to elaborate. On a particular sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear on the night in question. The sound very, very clearly explained by the presence of the following person.
Take that!
Thrice fired Mason!
Yes, my lord. The sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus.
Order! Explain your reasoning, counsel!
Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person aboard the omnibus, is that correct? Yeah, of course I was. I got home while the driver was in the pub, didn't I? And the next person aboard the omnibus was Mr. McGilden.
That there was. I thought the soul was in the cabin when I climbed aboard. At least not in plain sight.
So you were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at that time.
Did I not just say as much? Wasn't traveling with anybody else, if that's what you mean.
Yeah,
I saw him get on, remember, through a crack under the seat cushion. He was on his own for sure.
And from that, what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onward journey. During which time you did not hear the door opening or closing at all.
Nah, I never heard it. That's exactly what I was listening for, weren't it? Waiting for this swill to leave.
In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage? We know that the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Therefore, Miss Lestrade's comment about what she did or did not hear is at odds with the facts.
Yes, this petty thief statement is clearly flawed. Lord Von Zeeks!
Yes, he knew. He knew all too well that there was an inconsistency in Miss Lestrade's statement.
It would seem the words of thanks are in order for my learned friend.
What are you talking about?
You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colorful statements are entirely unreliable. Her words are inconvenient untruths and nothing more.
I mean, that makes no sense. This girl's a pickpocket. Let's not forget that. Oh, old lady, don't do it. Oh! God darn it. Why? Why do we keep having this trial? She didn't even say anything. I didn't want to judge the dear little mite just because she has some rather naughty ways. But I must say, I can't abide liars.
And neither can I. Mr. Foreman, stop! I didn't want to judge the girl just because she has some less than salberous ways. But I must say, I cannot abide liars.
Ah, shoot.
Egg!
Mr. Naruhodo, that's 5 jury members leaning towards guilty.
You evil man, Von Zeeks. Well, your consideration for others is refreshing, my Nepalese friend. To the considerable troubles you have spared me.
Oh, shut the hell up! I'm going to screw you over so bad, douche. I'm not just gonna keel over and let you win.
Yes, very refreshing.
Ag!
Ah! What are you playing at?
Have you forgotten who you're working for, you useless English? Easton Edmund! This carnage, it's perfect. Juror number 2 is the only one left. Mr. Naruhodo, the way this is going.
I know! If we can't find some new way to convince everyone of Mr. McGilden's innocence, the judge will rule, and we'll have lost.
I very much wanted to believe the words of one of London's most respected gentlemen. But those of us in service know we must accept hard truths.
Objection! Objection!
Yes, the witness's last statement seems to have revealed a crucial inconsistency in her story. However, if we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light on this whole case. Because I have to think of this in a different way. He either bored it with Mr. McGilden and she's lying about not seeing him bored with him, which makes sense if he immediately sat on top of her, or he came in through the skylight. Oh, I'm gonna laugh if that's an option they give me.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that I have to go with the improbable ways of my descendant and just say outlandish things to let this trial continue.
Counsel!
I'm sorry, sir? Whatever do you mean?
Well, I got to explain myself. You people are so fast to put your judgments in. I gotta explain things. Counsel, I will not tolerate you attempting to prorogue my adjudication. Explain yourself at once.
Okay.
When the accused boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness on the stand. And yet the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus? Breathe, Naruhodo! Breathe!
There's only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage. Oh God. There was another entrance. I will laugh if there's another entrance. This is just a massive mess, isn't it? If the door wasn't opened even once. The only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way.
Objection!
Shut the hell up! Let me have my tirade!
I wondered what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic.
Oh, shut the hell up!
But behold the omnibus here for all to see. Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door, and the other only has windows. Fixed windows which cannot possibly open. Which, in short, there was no entrance to the cabin other than the door.
Objection!
But there could be. There's one possibility you haven't considered. Oh, really? Yes, one other way inside that isn't the door. Another opening, the use of which allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin. I'm not coming up with ridiculous ideas.
All right, counsel. The defense will identify the location for the court.
I'm gonna point to the roof window, aren't I?
Here is the omnibus on which the incident occurred. Where on earth is this entrance by which you propose the victim entered the cabin?
Take that!
The answer is obvious. It can only have been the skylight.
I say, the skylight?
I'm coming up with ridiculous theories, aren't I?
Objection!
It's Ace Attorney! Your ludicrous proposal has me lost for words. However,
Objection!
the skylight may well be large enough for someone to pass through.
Objection!
So you claim. But do you have a shred of evidence to support your addle-brain theory? I mean, we can check right now. You brought the crime scene in for me. Both Mr. McGilden and Miss Lestrade said in their testimonies. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud, such a noise made by someone falling to the floor.
Yes, which has already been explained. As the sound of the victim falling from his seat having been assaulted with the dagger.
Yes, it has, but would the man slipping from a seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witnesses describe? A noise loud enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let out an involuntary cry, in fact.
Good gracious!
Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment that the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it.
Objection!
Shut the hell up! Let me have my moment. I need my moment, Van Zeeks. That's simply impossible. How can you be so sure? Because if the victim had fallen inside through the skylight, as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. And yet, not one person made mention of such events in their testimony. Well, yes, that is true, but what a humble fella. Make a wee comment here. Mr. McGilden, I'm trying to protect you, my dear man. To be sure now, the two fellas who were sat on the roof testified afore. Said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight. But it seems to me, my lord, that 'tis not so much a case of them not saying, but... Aye. 'Tis a case of them being unable to say. Why? I think perhaps the two fellas do be having something of a compelling reason not to mention what happened. Which is not a refined, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Oh my goodness, surely not. It would mean one of them's the killer. Oh dear God. Those two chaps on the roof.
You mean the ones that stuck a knife in the man were...
Ah! Hold it! Oh, look at their back!
Just what exactly are you insinuating here, you bleather?
You rotter, he said! You rotter! What are you insinuating? Insinuating?
This is a flaming outrage!
I have a good mind to give you a blinker in a minute. He'll give you a shiner in a minute, he said, and so will I.
Mr. Fairplay?
You avowedly accusing me, a city gentleman and well-respected banker. And me, a very angry hatter. Suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed that man in the guts, it's a disgrace. It's scandalous. I protest. I protest in the strongest possible terms.
Then give me a...
That's right, I protest too. About you ruined scoundrel.
Give me testimony, guys.
Order! This is not the time, witnesses. I will not permit this wanton invasion of the stand. Return to the anteroom at once. But this is beyond reason, my lord. It's outrageous. It's very hurtful, you know. My lord, if I may comment. Go ahead, Lord Von Zeeks. It was the defense that incited this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof. Accuse? I never intended to. It seems, young Nepalese, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. You proposed to this court that the victim fell through the skylight from the roof deck of the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimidated their criminal guilt. In our British court of law, that is what is termed a baseless accusation.
I just made an excuse for why exactly we got to this point. Surely you can have court that lasts more than one day, my dear men. If you can't just dismiss it without second thought.
What are we waiting for? Get him to testify. I thought there was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the fellow. We have to see this matter through now, one way or another. If there's a filth of rubbish in our midst, we must dispose of it at once. Testify. What's happening, Mr. Naruhodo?
The spectators in the public gallery they're in a complete frenzy. God darn it!
Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First. My lord. You will take the stand again and make another formal testimony in reference to the incitement brought on by the defense.
Okay, we're in a.
Yes, my lord. I didn't come here for this.
You evil man. Oh, you incited all of this. I'm feeling like I'm fighting for somebody who actually did do the crime. And it's not a good feeling. There's no time to think this through. All I can do is keep pushing forward. That's right. Yeah, I keep pushing forward. Witness testimony. Refuting the accusation.
We were the only two people up on that roof deck. Dead or alive, I can swear to that. If anything had happened where we were sitting, don't you think one of us would have noticed? In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man. The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't have possibly opened it. If you're so sure the victim fell through the skylight, where's your proof? I must say that on listening to this testimony, it is somewhat hard to imagine. how either witness could have performed any malevolent act on this open rooftop deck without the other noticing forthwith. That's right, you see. We're innocent, I tell you. Although, logically, of course, the argument falls down knowing that the two of you were in collusion with one another. What? Eh? According to the investigation by Scotland Yard, the two witnesses share no common dealings. Ha! You know, I don't trust coppers any more than I trust the stinking rich. Something doesn't feel right here. The trial is going in our favor, really. So why do I feel so uneasy? Counsel for the defense, over to you. Your cross-examination, please. Oh, yes, my lord. Refuting the accusation. It's that third one that I'd really like to press.
Hold it!
So, you had never met thrice-fired Mason before? Oh, let me know. Not once, never. You never met the man before, you said? Never. And you, Mr. First, had no prior dealings with the victim either? That's right, sir. Hatters don't have much to do with brickmakers, to be perfectly honest, sir. No, I imagine not. You see, how many different ways can I put this? Neither of us have the remote connection to the gentleman who was inside the cabin. What do you gotta say about this, douche? Mr. McGilded? Yes, counsel? What can I be doing for you? Did the witness's last statement give you a pause of thought somehow? Not the remotest connection. Is that right now, I wonder? What are you insinuating now? Ah, Mr. Fairplay. It has been too long, so it has. Eh? If I'm not very much mistaken, I believe it is fast approaching, is it not? Payment date. I beg your pardon? Trick to me. It's extortion. Well, now, is that such a begrudgy, is it? The sort of begrudgy that might motivate a fella to pass off his crimes onto another. Wow, you sick man. I mean, that's what I use too, but oh, you sick man. And young Mr. First. Me, sir? What do you want with me, sir? You do be making hats for a living, you do not. That there top hat sitting about your head, is that the one of your own creations, is it? Oh, well, I'm still just an apprentice, you understand. I'm learning to find the perfect fit for whatever fine gent walks through the door. The perfect fit, is it? Well, 'tis a very distinctive design, so it is. Many customers like it, I tell you. They like the distinctive touch. Customers, such as thrice-fired Mason. Ah! There was a photographic print of the victim submitted as evidence of forth, my lord. Oh, this, you mean? Oh my god, the hat! I see where you made that connection, my dear man. I can't help thinking that poor fella's hat looks distinctly familiar, wouldn't you say? Oh! That's one of my hats! Why, that is! So it would seem the brickmaker was a customer of yours. Oh, we're making all the... You slimy, sneaky douche! The sort of customer I wager you could have had a wee quarrel with over the distinctiveness of the goods. Oh no, sir. Absolutely not, sir. Well, there's really nothing more to add. It wouldn't be right to say that the two fellas here haven't the remotest connection to the victim, you see. I rest my case. You little weasel! Ah!
He's better at this than I am.
Gosh, Mr. McGilded has certainly been through his research, hasn't he? Please, don't let my little interruption hold up the proceedings.
Hold it!
I gotta press that. Are you quite certain about that? That the skylight was shut the entire time? I'm gonna lose my block with you in a minute. He's gonna lose his rag with you in a minute. That's what he said. Take a look for yourself. Go on. You see? Shot fast now, just like it was on the night. So it is. Of course, a fellow of the size of Mr. Mason could likely break through it still and all. What? Just looking at the size of that thing, you understand. Now you hold on there a minute, sir. The size of the thing means nothing. No, sir, let's consider the bigger picture here, shall we? Let's stop biting our cane, shall we? I was riding in the omnibus on another occasion when, I broke wind. Loudly. I shocked myself with it as it happens. This is an unexpected confession, Mr. First. Oh, I just mean to say, well, the point is, I tried to open the skylight, you see. But, just my luck, I couldn't make it budge. The stench was terrible. Everyone was looking daggers at me, sir. I went as red as a rouge, I did. Are you expecting me to sentence you? Oh no, sir. The point is, the skylight can't be opened. I tried and tried when I was inside that cabin of shame. What do you have to say, Gina? Do you have something to say about that, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade! It opens. Huh? The skylight. That's what we're talking about, right? What the hell are you doing? All them skylights open dead easy. More easily than you can load that weapon? That's a lie, I tell you. Otherwise, when I broke wind, aye. You can't do it from inside, you mug. Oh. Look, a few weeks ago I was up on the roof deck of one of them drags. And I had a great hole. I have purses coming out my ears. Miss Lestrade, this is not the form to be eugalasting on the subject of your criminal activities. Hell, anyway, I had a bit of a scare. When I lifted the last bloke's purse, he got wise to me. And all four of them surrounded me, so I couldn't hop off the bus and leg it. So, when I did, I used the skylight, opened the clutch and jumped right through. What? Yeah, the catch room skylight's on the top side. That's why you can't open them from the cabin. The skylight opens from the roof deck. Bailiff! Climb up on the roof of the omnibus at once and verify the witness's claims! I do see a little click. Oh, my hat! See? Order! 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 So it appears that this street girl's statement is quite true.
I don't believe it. The skylight opens, and from the roof deck, we're in for the gold now, my dear boy.
Mr. Naruhodo, this could be the clue we've been looking for. Well, counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. So the skylight opens. Perhaps I should investigate it for myself.
Excusez-moi, I need to look at my evidence. I'm gonna go with present just so that I can examine the omnibus again. I don't need this every single time. Oh, do I have to actually go to the top?
Blood! Blood! Yes, it does open very wide, doesn't it? Wide enough to kick someone like you through, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. Why someone like me? Huh? What is it? Just look here, look at this! That's, without question, it's blood. Why would there be a blood stain here? Surely, that can't be unrelated to the case, can it?
First that bloodstain, then this one. I feel like my crime scene has definitely been tampered with. Obviously, I'm going to present my omnibus.
Objection!
I'm going to present the omnibus there. On the night in question, the victim was fatally stabbed in the stomach, and immediately afterwards, the victim's body was pushed through the skylight into the cabin below. Those are the facts, and the irrefutable proof remains clearly visible in the omnibus that stands before us today in this very courtroom. Blech, sorry for the tongue twister.
What? That's utter humbug. Ah, you can't possibly have any evidence. No, you can't. Wait, I mean, we didn't do it, I tell you. It's impossible. Irrefutable proof here in this courtroom.
Did you not look at the scene of the crime very quickly right now?
Counsel, yes, my lord. I believe everyone would appreciate a little clarification here. Where exactly within the omnibus is this evidence to which you allude? You will point out what it is that proves the victim fell from the roof deck through the skylight.
Oh, wrong side. I didn't mean to press that button. I know, I just went through this! Present!
Got it!
By jeepers! Is that blood?
Ah! This bloodstain proves two things. Firstly, when the incident occurred, the skylight of the omnibus was open.
What?
And secondly, the victim was already bleeding when he fell through the opening. And so it follows that Mr. McGilded, who was inside the enclosed cabin by himself at the time, cannot possibly be guilty of this crime. I mean, not really. I still would have to say, how the hell did the knife that almost certainly belongs to him end up being the murder weapon? But hey, we can go there another time, Ryunosuke. No!
was stabbed inside the cabin. It only found its way to that one particular spot in the skylight. Sure, it would have been very convenient. And let's keep in mind the skylight catch can only be unfastened from the roof deck. I myself wouldn't have been able to open it now, would I? But. There's no way to know for certain, is there? If the jet really fell through the skylight, I mean. Why don't you have a good look at the floor of the cabin between your two seats, Mr. First? 'Tis all too plain if you see. There's the aftermath that shows the poor fellow dropped from a fair high right there, so it is. What? No. What? It can't be. It's all lies!
Hold it!
My fellow jury members! I think we can all agree that this is clear proof of the defendant's innocent, can't we? I believe we can, sir. It's clear to me now where the filthy rubbish can be found in this courtroom. So they thought they could pull the wool over my eyes, did they? I won't tolerate any of the guild's carriages being sullied with blood. I won't tolerate it. Oh, I always knew that nice gentleman who gave us that delightful park couldn't have done such a thing. On three then, everyone. 1, 2, 3.
Objection!
God damn it! A chilling performance, Mr. McGilded. Oh, and what would you be referring to there now, Lord Von Zeeks? A bloodstain on the frame of the skylight. Such evidence is null and void. What? Why? For one extremely simple reason. That smear of blood never existed.
Objection!
I mean, we can see it right now. What are you talking about? It's there for all to see, and it's clearly blood.
Objection!
I personally attended Scotland Yard's investigation of the Omnibus. The officers involved went over the carriage with a fine-tooth comb. So I can state with absolute surety, no such smear of blood existed in the carriage. Yeah, but your Scotland Yard also didn't tell me that the omnibus, that window opened, so I can imagine them missing that. The floor, on the other hand, I can't imagine missing that. At least not until this trial began. But, are you suggesting, Lord Von Zeeks, that this stain of blood was fabricated, my lord? Yes. And while the court has been in session. What? How? What a palaver. I must say I didn't expect such a crude reasoning from a prosecutor you're standing, Lord Von Zeeks. But I'm Magnus McGilded, a fellow known all over the capital for his fine contributions to public life. I don't take kindly to slander, and I'll fight it to the bitter end. Even if it's rolling off the tongue of the Reaper of the Bailey. Mr. McGilded, I realize that this is your first appearance in court as the accused. However, I am well aware of your involvement behind the scenes in a great many affairs of a dubious nature. You're very adept when it comes to avoiding getting your own hands dirty. And each time it happens that a case you're involved in is investigated, you adapt the facts. Adapt the facts? What does that even mean? When you wield a fortune the size of Mr. McGilded's, however ill-gotten it may be, nothing is impossible. Tampering with evidence, manipulating the scene of a crime, bribing witnesses. I toast your ability to concoct the most convenient of stories, sir. Tut tut, Lord Von Zeeks. This'll not do for sure. Let now, Consul. No. I think it's fair to say this does all sound like a rather far-fetched excuse by the desperate man. The blood on the skylight didn't exist, you say? But have you all cast your minds back? It's not true that the omnibus there has been in the courtroom this entire time. How could anyone possibly have put a smear of blood on it without the word of it and his wife seeing? She put it on when she made the smoke bombs. You're colluding with Lestrade. Isn't that right now, Counsel? I mean, it's true. The omnibus has been in full view the entire time the court has been in session. My learned friend. What? Here's to hearing your opinion on this matter, in your own words. I mean, I'd say something else, possibly. As you wish. Could someone have tampered with the omnibus during this trial, if you're asking me, I think? It could have been possible. I'm not gonna say it couldn't have, but I'm also not gonna say that you're not innocent. As a defense lawyer, it's my job to advocate for the defendant as best I can. But still, I feel as though there's something even more important at stake here. There is no evidence to suggest the defendant did as my learned friend suggests. However, in terms of having the opportunity to carry out the alleged tampering, there is one possibility. Oh? Good gracious! Explain yourself, Counsel! I cannot be bought, my dear man. You get the truth and nothing but the truth. Yes, there is. It seems my learned Nepalese friend has no intention of running from this deceit. Deceit? I'm sure everyone still remembers clearly the recess that we were forced to take. As a result of the smoke grenade fired by the witness currently on the stand, Miss Gina Lestrade. What is going on? Be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Cover your face. Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. The courtroom was filled with smoke and everyone was thrown into confusion. All of us were made to leave this chamber. In that brief interval, under the veil of smoke and in all the chaos, it could have been possible to steal inside the omnibus. God damn it, Naruhodo. Our client ain't gonna like us for this. Oh, you boys. Oh dear God. What are you trying to pull, you rotten freckless gouger? A freckless gouger? You're supposed to be defending me. 'Tis a wicked plot, 'tis a plot to undermine me, so it is.
Objection!
Whatever you think this is, changes nothing. The facts are the same. After this courtroom was evacuated earlier, as a result of the smoke grenade, a number of inconsistencies materialized in relation to the omnibus. Inconsistencies such as... To start with, the storage compartment underneath the rear passenger seat. When the police investigated the omnibus, this compartment was full of the driver's items. Secondly, we have the smear of blood on the edge of the skylight. As I have said, that was not present at the start of the trial this morning. Again, you'd have to prove to me that you actually knew and put the skylight back. And since that wasn't something that the court knew, I can't say that that one is fabricated. Unfortunately, Lord Von Zeeks, no one is able to corroborate your claims. That's true. When the omnibus was first wheeled out, both the storage compartment and the skylight were shut. Accordingly, I'm afraid we cannot establish with any certainty if this evidence is the result of tampering or not. Indeed, my lord. No doubt there was not a single person who saw fit to verify such things. What do you think? Sorry? About the omnibus. Is there anything else unusual about the omnibus? The blood on the floor. The blood on the floor, I'm positive, was not there when I first looked at that thing. My lord? Yes, counsel? I'm gonna go against my client and give you an idea. There's one further inconsistency. The mark that surely could not have been present at the start of the trial. What? What in the devil's name are you going to say now? If you dare betray me, you little maggot, you better start watching your back.
Objection!
My dear man, I don't have to watch my back for anything. I will destroy you. Silence, McGilded. The court awaits the defense clarification. Grrr. This trial keeps swinging one way and then the other. I have no idea what's the truth and what's deception. What am I supposed to believe here? Good question, Naruhodo. I shall have to ask you to elaborate, counsel. Where exactly is this alleged mark that you claim appeared at some point during the trial? Well, the blood on the floor. I very much do not remember this blood on the goddamn floor. Not what I meant to do! That's my bad. That's my bad.
Got it!
I will get used to this. If we consider that the victim fell through the skylight onto the roof floor of the cabin, he would certainly expect to find signs of blood where he landed. But as far as I recall, this blood stain on the cabin floor was not there when the omnibus was first brought into the courtroom. Good lord! Yes, I do believe you're correct, counsel. Well said. Although, as advocate for the defense, one might say that is a very careless slip of the tongue. I mean, my job is to find the truth. Shut the hell up. I believe that the bloodstain on the floor is a decisive piece of evidence. But if the question is whether that evidence is genuine or whether it's unlawfully fabricated by someone, I feel compelled to admit that there's at least a possibility that the evidence is fake. Because I am an honorable Japanese man. I also don't like you calling me Nepalese. Nepalese. Oh dear God. I've torqued him off. This trial is over. Mr. McGilded? I've done everything I possibly can to cooperate with the court, but 'tis all over now. But you're the defendant. 'Tis over, I tell ya! Oh my God, look at that face. Look at that face, everybody. He looks like he's gonna murder me. I feel like I'm in trouble here. I feel like I'm in trouble. Memory? Recollection? What people think they saw? 'Tis all no nonsense. Facts or account. And the fact is that bloodstain is there. Now. Well? And over the course of this desperate trial, long enough, extremely drawn out as it has been, that good-for-nothing Reaper of the Bailey has failed to present any decisive evidence at all. Wow, you just insulted everyone. I'm scandalized, so I am. Like those better Lord Von Zix. Well, my lord, I must concur with the defendant. The unaffirmed recollections of an individual cannot stand as evidence. At this moment in time, the particular bloodstain in question is very much existence. absence of any credible method by which to prove its alleged previous non-existence. I regret to say it would be improper for this trial to continue.
Your lordship can't be serious.
Lord Von Zieks, what is your position? The prosecution, my lord, has no further witnesses or evidence to present. Very well. In that case, as I believe we have explored every possible avenue in this matter, I shall proceed to my avocation. As a formality, of course, obliged to confirm with the defense first.
Ah, shit, we in trouble. As things stand at the moment, it would seem that Mr. McGilded will be found not guilty.
Yes,
Which would mean we won.
is that really the right outcome here?
I don't think you get any other choices, Ryunosuke. Is it really alright for the trial to come to an end now, with all these unexplained inconsistencies?
Counsel for the defense, your closing statement, please. I don't know what to do. Yes, my lord.
The defense believes... Oh, what do I put? What do I put? This is a conundrum. I don't know what I should say. Obviously, I think he could be guilty, and I'll put that into the statement, but... Oh, this is just a mess. A nightmarish mess of things that I don't know how to get around. God darn you, Naruhodo. Why you gotta question my moralities? Alright. I'm gonna say could be guilty. I feel like I'm gonna get objected to and somebody's gonna talk over me, but we're gonna do this. I am here in this courtroom today to advocate for the defense of my client, Mr. McGilded. However, I'm also here to find the truth. That should be our goal, Naruhodo. At this moment in time, I cannot in good conscience attest fully to the defendant's innocence.
What are you saying, man?
Oh god, he's gonna lose it. He's gonna lose it. Without any question, there is no conclusive evidence to prove that the defendant is guilty. However, there is also no conclusive evidence to prove that he is innocent.
Good gracious me! Order!
This is an unprecedented behavior, counsel.
The defense lawyer, calling the accused innocence into question. Are you a sound mind?
What the hell's your problem?
Oh, 'twas a grand decision to appoint you as my lawyer, so it was. A grand decision.
What?
I must say, I didn't expect quite an exciting spectacle at the end there, but still. Here, have this for your troubles. Your job here is done, fella. And some fine work you've done, so you have.
What do you mean?
Tis just the right honourable gentleman so skewantly put afore. The trial can't go on anymore. And your closing statement there was, how did he put it now? Nothing more than a formality.
Oh, you are the mastermind here.
I really don't know what to make of all this. Was the evidence we've seen genuine or was it fake?
His lordship would be fuming. Any unsightly rubbish should be disposed of promptly, I said.
Well, stinking rich are always guilty of something. You mock my words.
I feel terribly ashamed that I ever doubted the lovely man who gave us the lovely park.
that proceedings have unfolded in this way.
You could just have another day. Give everybody another day to get ready for your goddamn trial, but no. You have to go immediately and end it.
I am compelled to declare a premature end to this trial. Furthermore, the court must accept the defendant's plea. I thank you kindly, my lord. I hereby pronounce the verdict of this court.
Objection!
But we still haven't determined if the bloodstain in the omnibus is genuine or not. We don't know if these witnesses are telling the truth or a pack of lies. We know nothing, Judge. You can't just declare a judgment immediately. In this situation, you should call for the trial to resume tomorrow. What the hell is wrong with you? We have no idea about the truth.
Lord Von Zeeks, my lord, the case made by the prosecution was flawed, plain and simple. If indeed the omnibus presented as evidence was tampered with, the prosecution is at fault for allowing such a disgraceful perversion of justice to take place. My sincerest apologies, my lord.
Objection!
But wait, when we were evacuated from the courtroom, Lord Von Zeeks ordered the evidence to be secured. I'm afraid the prosecution cannot shun responsibility in this matter.
That's so unfair.
The culpability of the defendant has not, at the present time, been established by this court. Coincidentally, the jury will not be required to proffer judgment. What? Well, Lord Von Zeeks, it's been a pleasure, so it has. And for you, my dear fella, I couldn't have asked for a better defense. Do you mean to tell us this has all been a grand waste of time? 'Tis the law of the land, my good man. If you'd like to pursue this matter further, you can always go ahead and try to change the law. Magnus McGilded. Good grief! You have more to say, have you? Just one thing. A warning. This is far from over. Well, something to be looking forward to then. I hereby pronounce the defendant, Mr. Magnus McGilded. Alright, the soccer. Oh my god, why are there fireworks? The soccer pedals were cute, but fireworks is just weird. It's also weird that the jury didn't actually do it. I can't believe it! This is an outrage! They should have examined the evidence more. What are you talking about? The man's clear. He's innocent. I came up with a ridiculous thing. With the courtroom in pandemonium for the second time that day, the judge delivered his verdict. And my first ever trial in Great Britain came to an abrupt end, with the defendant being found not guilty. Ostensibly a victory for us. February, 5:14 p.m. Oh my god, that took forever. In the Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Oh, dot. That certainly was a long trial. Ah, yes, it was. Your first ever trial on foreign soil, and your first victory. It was a wonderful performance. My heartfelt congratulations. And you, Miss Susato, thank you for your assistance. Dot, dot, dot. I suppose we should be happy. The trouble is, we're still completely in the dark about what actually happened. Well, we didn't have enough time. But isn't it wrong? I mean, who was actually responsible for Mr. Mason's death? We don't even know that. The sole aim of the defense is to obtain a verdict that exonerates the defendant. You carry out your duty to perfection. Oi, that you did. Mr. McGilded. Ah, and that girl's with him too. Hell, it seems the stories are true. Oh, what stories? About the 6 enormous fireworks they'd be letting off when there's a verdict of not guilty. I'm sure you must have seen them now. Spectacular, wouldn't you say? Yes, definitely. I'd heard it was a sight to behold, and be sure it was. You know, I've you to thank, I suppose, for having an opportunity to see it. Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not sure I really did anything. I mean, we definitely did something, Naruhodo. We did a lot. What on earth are you saying, fella? How did I walk out of there a free man, then? I don't think it was so much thanks to me as down to your planning. You're a straight-talking fella, aren't you? I must say, you had me astray at the head there once or twice. But you're young and headstrong. Ha ha ha! That is water under the bridge. Congratulations, Mr. McGilded, on having your name cleared. But nothing's resolved. There's only one thing that matters to me. Oh? Oi. They've all seen that I didn't do the obstinate deed. 'Tis grand, is it not? I suppose it is. Now the fine fellows of Scotland Yard can take matters in hand and sort out any real details. They'll see it for what it is. They'll get to the truth. I've absolute faith in them, so I have, after all. I do be providing a good number of their wages with all the taxes I pay. It's not that funny. So then, as we agreed beforehand, 1,000 guineas for your troubles, fella. Oh, no, I couldn't possibly accept that much. Oh, don't be wits. You're a humble people, are you? You're from the East. Well, if you insist. But how this still and all? You deserve a reward. Mr. Magnus McGilded! Everything is ready, sir. If you'd like to follow me into the courtroom. Into the courtroom? What's this, officer? 'Tis sooner than I was led to believe. I hope it's not inconvenient, sir. There were some changes to the schedule. Here, I must be making tracks now. 'Tis time for the inspection. Sorry, what inspection? They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. They're going to examine it again. Now? Naturally, I'm under no obligation to take part in any more of this matter now. As an upstanding member of London society, I do my best to help where I can. 'Tis a gentleman's duty, so it is. So then, fare thee well. 'Twas an absolute pleasure meeting yous. I hope you have a whale of a time while you're studying here in Great Britain. Why do I feel like you're about to die? And there he goes, a free man. Oh, I forgot she was here too. Oh dear God, where is she coming from? Don't move. Whereas I want to say, get a move on. She really does take forever to load that thing. Miss Lestrade, Would you mind putting that thing down? You're a grown-up. Sorry? You know, I hate all grown-ups. Ah, there you are. Oh, Iris. Naughty, naughty, running off like that. Is this some kind of picnic? Who is this little girl now? I'm taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Ah! How do you want to play? You won't beat me. Grr. Excuse me, but who are you? Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine. The inventor? Well, normal smoke grenades are so dull, don't you agree? White, white, and more white. If you have to be shrouded in smoke, it could at least be a pretty color, I thought to myself. Do we have to be shrouded in smoke, though? At all? I just took my eyes off it for a moment while I was changing into a different omnibus, and she pinched it. Luckily, I fitted it with a telegraphic beacon. A what's it? What? I have no idea what this girl's talking about. Anyway, you're coming with me now, back to my laboratory. What? What for? To apologize, of course, silly, to my technician. What? You mean say sorry? You must say sorry when you've done something wrong. Surely an adult has told you that before. An adult? I don't listen to no adults. Come along then, follow me. Fine, have it your way. Oh, good. You see, I knew you'd want to do the right thing in the end. I'm fairly sure that what she wants is to not get shot by that massive gun of yours. We'll be leaving now then. Bye-bye. I'm so sorry for all the fuss. She was a lively one. Well, do you think perhaps we ought to be on our way now too? Yes, you're right, but where to? Oh, we haven't had time to find a place to stay. No sooner had we arrived in London, we had to rush here. All of our traveling cases are still with the bailiff. I was originally planning to spend a day in search of lodgings. But at this late hour of day, I'm afraid we might be out of luck. Don't worry though, I have a plan. If the worst comes to the worst, I've heard of a lovely park where we could spend the night. Please tell me you're not thinking of Gilded Park. I know it may be a little chilly this time of year, but her youthfulness will see us through. I'm not so sure about that. I think a midwinter London night will freeze a young person solid just as easily as an elderly one. Oh dear, that doesn't sound agreeable. Now I'm starting to regret turning Mr. McGilded down. That 1,000 guineas would have paid for a lovely warm room, or mansion. And so, the trial to determine my worthiness for the study tour was over by the end of our first day in London. However, as we were soon to learn, there were more trying times ahead, just as the Reaper of the Bailey had warned. The case was far from over.
What's going on? Get the fire brigade! Water! Bring water!
What the effing hell?
How did this happen?
I don't know, sir. By the time I got here, it was already engulfed.
No one was supposed to be allowed in here before we started investigating. No. Oh, good God. There's someone in there. Oh. This can't be.
The Reaper! I don't think you're responsible for it, but now I need to know who actually did the killing. And that is the end of this case. Thank you all for joining me as we completed the case of the Runaway Room. The adventure of the Runaway Room. We are now at the halfway point. We've completed 3 out of 5 cases. There's 2 more to go. They're obviously the longest cases in this game. And the mysteries are just going to keep piling up. Thank you all for supporting the Grace Ace Attorney Adventures. I'm so thankful that you guys are watching the series as you guys are. I'm really happy that this is going so well. I'll catch you all in the flip.